The Catalan Palace of Music is a cultural icon in the heart of Barcelona. It's also my morning view. I've lived in Barcelona for 3 years, experiencing one of Europe's most extraordinary cities at an extraordinary time. Straddling the northeast coast, it isn't just Spain's second largest city, it's the capital of Catalonia, a region with its own language, traditions, and a history of anarchism and separatism.
I feel 100% Catalan. I don't feel Spanish.
I've watched it mount a full-scale bid to secede from Spain.
It feels like a bad marriage.
Yeah, a very bad marriage.
I've witnessed the Spanish state spill blood to stop it, and seen a far-right party rise up across the country vowing to crush the separatists. Now, as I'm preparing to leave, I'm trying to make sense of why a community so welcoming has been so riven by conflict, and why so many want to split from a country I've come to love. It was a weekend that changed everything. On September 30, 2017, I saw thousands of national police taking up positions around Barcelona. The regional Catalan government had defied the capital, Madrid, to call an illegal referendum on independence. Teachers, students and parents were occupying schools to ensure they could be used as polling stations.
We're going to try to make sure that it stays open. That's the plan.
Now, what if the police order you to leave tomorrow and stop people coming in to hold the vote?
Well, that's a worst-case scenario, and we hope that doesn't happen.
At dawn, the worst case happened. Worse than anyone had feared. Elderly voters were dragged and clubbed. Unarmed civilians were shot with rubber bullets. And something broke in Catalonia's heart.
We are very peaceful people, and we are not going against nobody. And it's important that you speak with everybody and see what happened this day, okay? Because it's super dramatic. They are fighting against us like 300 years ago.
What I'd seen was the latest chapter in a story dating back to the 18th century, when Spain first crushed Catalonia's self-rule. After a long and bloody siege, Barcelona fell to the Spanish king on September 11, 1714. It remains Catalonia's day of mourning.
Since then, things has never been the same for Catalans.
Jordi Rivera was the first Catalan friend I made here. Today, he's showing me how the dream of independence is kept alive at Camp Nou, the home ground of FC Barcelona. Barca, as it's known here, is playing a team from Madrid.
So, which team is going to win here?
Hopefully Barcelona. There's a big difference in the quality of the players, so in theory, Barca has to win.
Yeah.
Theory. But this is football. Everything can happen.
So it's the best club in the world normally.
Yeah.
Just maybe not today.
Well, not lately, but yeah, it's the best team in the world.
So, Barca for Barcelonans, it's more than just a sport, isn't it?
Sí, és més que un esport perquè és un lloc on la gent es pot expressar.
Every home match still makes a sharp reference to Spain crushing Catalan rule in 1714. 17 minutes and 14 seconds into the game, people start chanting for independence.
Well, it represents the year when we lost the battle against the Spanish ones.
So it's 17 minutes, 14 seconds,
Yeah.
You have a siren
Yeah,
to mark 17-14.
yeah, to remember when we lost a battle.
Was a long time ago, Geordie.
Yeah, but we're still feeling the consequences of losing that battle.
Okay.
Yeah. It was the moment that all the Catalan institutions were banned by the Spanish Empire.
Opinion polls suggest the Catalans are evenly split between staying with Spain and leaving. Some from the independent side still believe they can defeat the central government, just as Lionel Messi routinely scores to beat teams from Madrid. Madrid's crackdown on the referendum hasn't cowed them. This is a very political town. Not a week goes by that there's not some major demonstration in my neighbourhood, and tonight it's Junts per Catalunya, the Together for Catalonia group that was one of the key forces behind the independence referendum. And these days many of their senior figures are on the run or in jail. After the referendum, Madrid temporarily stripped Catalonia's autonomy. 9 alleged ringleaders were detained without bail. Screens display how many days they've been in prison. Jordi Sanchez, who headed a grassroots independence group, was charged with rebellion, leaving behind his wife Susana Barreda and their 3 children.
Nosaltres sembla que tinguem dues vides. La vida anterior al 16 d'octubre del 2017, que és el dia que ell va entrar a presó preventiva, i la d'ara, no? El que està fent l'estat espanyol és tancar el seu adversari polític a la presó. El que està clar és que ells estan tancats a la presó per pensar com pensen.
Tonight is a special occasion for her. It's the end of the first national election campaign since the referendum. Her husband Jordi and some of his co-accused are running for the national parliament as they await their verdicts.
Perquè el que sí han de tenir clar és que els acompanyarem per culminar tots junts aquest camí que vam començar i aquest camí de llibertat que no té marxa enrere.
Prison authorities in Madrid are letting them video call the rally.
Hola, Susana. Mira que hem fet coses rares tu i jo, però parlar a través d'una televisió, jo a la presó i tu presentant l'acte de culminació d'aquesta campanya, però gràcies, Susana.
Moments later, Catalonia's former president, Carles Puigdemont, calls in from Belgium. He fled Spain to avoid arrest.
I els vostres fills us ho agrairan, perquè els hi podreu explicar una lliçó de dignitat que cap dels repressors, cap dels que van utilitzar les porres l'1 d'octubre, cap dels que us han acusat injustament podran explicar als seus fills o als seus nets. Se n'hauran d'amagar.
But for every fervent independentista, there's a Catalan who wants to stay with Spain. My friend Jordi doesn't want to secede, he'd settle for greater autonomy.
Per exemple, federal, confederal. Des del meu parer, anar més enllà d'això potser no té sentit en un món tan globalitzat, no?
But he wants Catalans to be allowed to make the choice.
Hi ha un 80% de la població que està a favor de ser preguntada sobre quina relació vol tenir amb la resta de l'Estat.
So it's very split, but everybody wants a referendum.
La gran majoria, sí.
For many who visit here, Barcelona is a city of extraordinary buildings and rich Spanish culture. But for locals, it's a showcase of what Catalans can create. From Antoni Gaudi's unfinished Sagrada Familia Cathedral to Domènec i Montañer's Palace of Music. In my neighbourhood, La Ribera, the narrow cobblestoned alleyways are much as they were in the days of self-rule. This was the city's artisan centre, and it's still full of small traders and craftspeople. Every neighbourhood, known as a barri, is different, with its own schools, community centres, bars and markets.
¿Si ve cortado en lonchas?
¿Finos? Sí, 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 sí. Gracias. Ciao. Most buddies are filled with flags, not Spanish, but Catalan. The ones with stars are symbols of independence. What you won't see in these buddies is this. What many think of as Spanish culture is almost alien to Catalonia. Flamenco, for example, comes from the deep south, in the region of Andalusia. Most people here couldn't dance it to save themselves. It's only staged for tourists, or in this case, an annual festival for people of Andalusian origins. Catalan culture looks rather different. Festivals like this go back to the Middle Ages, when Catalonia was a great maritime empire, focused more on France and the Mediterranean than Madrid. But within living memory, Madrid tried to erase any expression of Catalan identity.
The great Spanish port of Barcelona is one of the important strongholds of the Loyalists in the present revolt.
In 1936, the city became a bulwark against the far-right general Francisco Franco after he attacked the Republican government.
The local headquarters of the Marxist Union is a beehive of activity, with a steady stream of militiamen reporting for duty.
They held out for 2.5 years until Franco took the city and revenge. He imposed a brutal regime across Spain, jailing, executing or exiling hundreds of thousands of Republicans and banning regional languages like Basque, Galician and Catalan. This ally of Hitler was still in power in the 1970s.
Sobretot al principi, el que es va promoure és una única cultura, la cultura espanyola com una cultura comuna, que això anava totalment en contra de la realitat de les identitats nacionals d'alguns dels territoris d'Espanya en aquell moment.
Since the general's death in 1975, Catalan customs have returned with a vengeance. Esther Oriol is a king Castellera, building human towers called castells. In Franco's time, it was a fringe sport restricted to the countryside. Today, there are more than 100 big clubs. She's looking forward to teaching her 2-year-old daughter, Laia, to climb.
I would like to, yeah, I would like to. I think it was a nice tradition for families. It's not as dangerous as it seems. It's not so dangerous because we really train to perform that towers. Yep. And I hope my team will perform a lot when Laia is going to climb in the top of them.
When her own parents were growing up, even Catalan names like Laia were banned. Now all regions enjoy autonomy. Catalans have built a relatively rich economy, a Catalan-speaking civil service, and good locally run schools. But many, like Esther Oriol, still want their own country, where taxes stay in Catalonia and Madrid never rules.
Well, I'm pro-independence since I was a child. I don't have memory of anything else. I have born in democracy, so I have born in autonomy, but I'm pro-independence.
For her, the attack on the independence referendum was as unexpected and shocking as a Castell's collapse. While this accident just caused cuts and bruises, the political injuries may be felt for generations.
in October of 2017. We want to express our will. This was a thing that started from the base, from people of the streets, from people of the neighborhoods. My cousin, my father, and the state of Spain, I don't know who, sent policemen to hit us, and they hurted us, not only in our skin, they hurted us in our souls. This was a deep injury. I think it will never heal. It will never heal. So I hope that my little girl will live in a free country when she gets older, but I'm not able to find an easy solution.
They haven't just worked hard to revive their folk traditions. Catalan nationalists have shunned some of the Spanish traditions they feel Madrid imposed on Barcelona. Until recently, the city held regular bullfights in its grand stadium, La Monumental. Fernando Gracia is a retired matador who now teaches the sport. He remembers the glory of facing down toros before crowds of thousands.
Te pasa bien, la sensación que tienes como de mérito, ¿no? Como diciendo, he vencido ese miedo y estoy demostrando que tengo valor. Esa es una sensación que es extraordinaria. Pero siempre tienes que tener en cuenta que como te equivoques, te coge a ti. Y te estás jugando la vida.
¿Es la vida o muerte?
Es la vida o muerte.
But in 2010, the Catalan parliament banned the sport, citing animal cruelty. Aficionados saw it as a slap in the face from Catalan nationalists. La Monumental became a music venue. Barcelona's other big stadium, Las Arenas, is now a shopping mall. And Fernando's students can now only use models.
¿Te gustaría poder practicar con los toros reales en Barcelona?
Pues sí me gustaría. Es muy difícil, muy complicado. O sea, si a un chico le gusta el fútbol, pues viene aquí a la escuela de fútbol o le compra un balón a su padre y se pone a jugar al fútbol con cualquier chaval. Pero un chico que quiere ser toro, ¿de dónde saca un toro? O una vaca, para torear. Entonces, aquí en la escuela lo que hacemos nosotros es que les ayudamos, vamos a ganaderías y les ayudamos a que vayan toreando vacas.
They train in the working-class municipality of L'Hospitalet, far from the modernist Gaudi buildings of the rich inner city. Many of the families here migrated from poorer parts of Spain in the 1950s and 60s to work in Barcelona's booming factories. And they resent Spanish heritage and language being treated as something foreign.
Bueno, una parte puede sentirse, una parte, pero yo creo que aquí se ha demostrado, a pesar de toda la fuerza que están teniendo los independentistas con los medios de comunicación, televisión. Sin embargo, hay todavía, no digo que pase la mañana, pero todavía hay una mayoría no independentista.
In 2017, hundreds of thousands of Catalans took to the streets in a counter-demonstration against the independence push.
I'm here to show my support for all those people from Barcelona who believe that Spain is a whole country and they want to be part of Spain. So we all came here to show our support for the silent majority.
We have been silent because we have faith in our democracy and institutions, but sometimes they have to hear what we feel.
He dicho muchas veces que una independencia en Cataluña sería un desastre para Cataluña, para España, incluso para Europa, algo.
The independence push has had an unexpected and seismic backlash across Spain. It's spurred the explosion of a new far-right party called Vox. Vox doesn't just want to bring Catalonia to heel, it wants to expel tens of thousands of migrants from this very diverse city. And I'm on my way to meet its unlikely Barcelona leader.
Vox means voice, and it claims to be the voice of real people. Like many new populist parties, it's been getting advice from Donald Trump's former strategist, Steve Bannon. Its local head, Ignacio Garriga, is the son of an African migrant, a handy counter to claims the party is racist. In April, he was one of 24 candidates to win seats in the National Parliament, creating the first far-right bloc since the return of democracy.
Decir que es posible una Barcelona que mira al futuro con esperanza, con ilusión, orgullosa de su pertenencia y de su identidad española.
Vox is promising national unity, an end to political correctness, defence of men's rights from aggressive feminists, and a crackdown on migration. It also talks of reconquest, a reference to the medieval Reconquista when Christian knights drove Muslim Moors from Spain.
La vamos a recuperar y la vamos a poner a vuestro servicio. Queridos compatriotas, empezamos la reconquista de Barcelona. Que Dios os bendiga, que Dios bendiga Barcelona y salimos a ganar. ¡Viva España!
Vox wants to do more than stop separatism. It wants to strip Catalonia of the autonomy it has and put it under the direct control of Madrid.
Nuestra política es clara, cero connivencia con el separatismo, persecución y máxima determinación con la ley en la mano. Porque lo que está claro es que este grupo de personas lo que han hecho es sustraernos la soberanía nacional y no han puesto en grave riesgo la unidad nacional.
Holding a rally on the tourist strip, the Rumblers, Vox manages to avoid any heckling from leftists or independence activists. But when we travel by bus with them to a rally outside the city, there's a very different reception.
Llavors, és masclista, és racista, té tots els istes que corresponen a una ideologia feixista, ¿no?
Vox es un partido fascista que especialmente en España va contra el movimiento feminista porque consideran que somos el enemigo a abatir.
Aparte de muchos otros como LGTB,
los movimientos del racismo.
Nos van a echar porque son así de democráticos.
Well, this is fairly typical of what happens when Vox campaigns in what some might call enemy territory. It's not just the fact that they're against independence. Many Catalans see it as a turn of Franco.
Inside the hall, there's a sea of Spanish flags and a cacophony of Spanish slogans. Outside, far-left Catalans determined to stop the rise of the far right.
We cannot forget that Franco is the only dictator that died on bed. He died on bed, he had a funeral of state funeral. After that, they decided to change the rules of the game, but the rules didn't change really. They just put some makeup on that. They did a fake transition.
At times, the city can feel like it's on a knife edge. Barcelona has been bracing for riots if Jordi Sanchez and other independence leaders are sentenced to long jail terms. But for the most part, I've seen people trying to heal the rifts. Almost every family has different opinions, as well as relations from outside Catalonia, and they all have to get along.
Tots tenim amics, tots tenim família, tots volem tenir més amics, volem seguir relacionant-nos amb la gent, sigui del país que sigui, ja sigui castellans, bascos o australians.
Whatever people's politics, almost all Barcelonans are intensely proud of their culture.
not as a museum piece, but as a living, breathing expression of who they are. Before leaving, I have a chance to see perhaps the most extraordinary ritual of all. Tonight, the barrio around Sagrada Familia is holding its annual community festival, staging what's called correfocs, meaning fire run.
Hi, how are you? Good.
Albero Dubas is one of the volunteer organisers. He's also in charge of one of its dragons.
Esto es los dragones, ¿de acuerdo? Les pondremos unos petardos aquí, unos petardos que disparan fuego. Y entonces la gente corre, ¿vale? O sea, corren delante de ellos y los dragones y los diablos les persiguen durante las calles de Barcelona.
They'll carry these 55-kilogram dragons around the neighbourhood to the famous Sagrada Familia Cathedral, with devils lighting fireworks on them.
La base del correfoc, esto era tradicionalmente, los dragones representaban el mal, ¿no? Los diablos y el dolor, ¿no? El mal de la gente, y salen por la calle a perseguir a las personas.
There isn't a single tourist watching, the locals reclaiming their streets and traditions.
Durante la época franquista, todas estas cosas se pararon. O sea, en la mayoría de ciudades de Cataluña se prohibieron los correfocs, los castellers, toda la cultura tradicional quedó aparcada. Solamente en algunos pueblos muy pequeñitos como Berga o así se mantuvo la tradición. Y eso se recupera a partir de los años 80, años 90, con la devolución de la democracia, pues volvemos a recuperar todas las fiestas tradicionales y populares. Estas figuras, la mayoría de dragones, de figuras, tienen 30, 40 años como mucho. Solo hay en Cataluña 5 o 6 dragones que tienen más de 100 años.
It's religious in a sense. The ritual stemmed from the Catholic Church, but it feels pagan. It's all about celebration. And there's a complete absence of nanny state controls. Everyone plunges in at their own joyful risk. What is extraordinary about Barcelona is that you see this all the time. Every barrio, every neighbourhood has a festival. They all compete with each other, and all the participants, the dancers, the drummers, the musicians, the acrobats, they're all locals. And that, to me, is what epitomises Barcelona and Catalonia. There's this incredible sense of community and identity, which the Francoists tried so long to suppress, but it just gets bigger every year. For much of the time I've been here, people have tried to fight a battle between what they saw as the evil of Madrid and the good of Barcelona. It has flared up and, for now, flamed out. I'm going to miss Barcelona's neighbourhoods, its celebrations, and, in a way, its conflict. Not the politics so much as the intense passion behind it. I'm leaving a place that's been turbulent, exhilarating, and always unique. A nation within a nation, and a world of its own.